So we are still convened for the opening of the for the procurement of goods and related services under the small volume procurement. So. Dito. So for our small value procurement, we have RFQ 26011, supply and delivery of office furniture for use in the conference room and training room, HRDS under administrative position, the Regional Office Club for London City. With an ABC of 402,413 pesos. Anyway, kung kasi, Mr. Dito, custom ito how's are the participating suppliers inspected the conference room and measure the required specifications? Sinong nagbigay ng supply? So we have Fire Sea Construction Services, January Construction Service and Supply, and Benipayo Construction and Supply. For RFQ 2026-019, repair and maintenance of multi-function printer for use in the construction division, DPW Regional Office 12, Coronadal City, with an ABC of 824,510 pesos. So we have one participating supplier, Philippine Duplicators Incorporated. And for RFQ 2026-026, supply and delivery of printing supplies for use in the construction division, DPWH Regional Office 12, Coronadal City, with an ABC of 385,000. So we have one participating supplier, Docking Philippines Incorporated. So may request the secretary to assist the technical working group or groups to assist the back in the opening of the sealed return quotations of the participating suppliers.
Nasa training yung talaga closing sila.
evaluation of the return quotation of the participating suppliers. The criteria is the absence or presence of the required documents. So these are the previous registration certificate, the payroll business permit, the income or business tax return for applicable for RFQs above 500,000 pesos. Certificate of exclusive distributorship or distributor apostille for the applicable for IT equipment and the specification of the brand offered. And the omnibus form statement. So for the RFQ 2026-019, that's me, evaluated by the bank. Complied as the required eligibility requirements. Our vision is in the amount of 824,510 pesos. Exactly the same with our APC.
Yes.
For RFQ 2026, we have a loan supplier of return quotation back in Philippines Incorporated.
Ay, parang ito ba? Hindi, kailang ibis.
So the ABC is 385,000 pesos. And upon evaluation by the bank, it has been determined that Gaken Gaken Philippines have complied and passed with the eligibility requirements for the return quotation. And their quotation is in the amount of 323,777 pesos and 56 centavos. For RFQ 2026-011, we have 3 participating suppliers who have return quotation. For 5C, which are 5C. 5C construction services, that's been evaluated that they have complied and passed with the eligibility requirements, and the return quotation is in the amount of 400,000 pesos. For Vinipayo construction and supply, that's been evaluated that they have also complied and passed with the eligibility requirements with the return quotation of 401,000 pesos. For January construction service and supply, it has been evaluated that they have passed and complied with the eligibility requirements with the return quotation of 401,500 pesos. So the results of the quotations of the participating suppliers shall be subject to the further evaluation and post qualification of the technical working group at the back. So any manifestations from the members, we will adjourn the opening of the quotations from the participating suppliers and the full value procurement for goods and related services. And to proceed with the for goods and related services, so we still have 1 contract for goods and related services. And the declaration of the result of the post qualification of the civil works projects. The contract. Yeah.
You're letting.
Yes, sir.
There being no more. There are no more, I think, big ticket for opening of, bids for the civil works in the small procurement, small value procurement. Having completed all the information for of the proposals of those features to submitted their bid. That promote the German of the bid opening for the civil awards in the small value program.
So there is a motion to be seconded to adjourn the opening of the clarification for the procurement of goods and services under the small business value procurement. And to proceed with the pre-bid conference of goods and services. So there being no objections, the motion is hereby approved. So for purposes of recording the minutes, so we shall be using the same files. Next, so we are still currently live streaming in the official YouTube account of TPWH Official for all of the activities today. So for the pre-bid conference, goods and related services, we have one contract, 26 GM 005. Supply and delivery of office supplies and janitorial supplies for use of administrative division, planning and design division, construction division, finance division, and equipment management division, DPWH General Office Round. So to present the basic contract data of the ABC and the region of this project, so this will be discussed by Engineer General Mariano.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the basic contract data, contract ID 26GM005. Supply and delivery of office supplies and janitorial supplies for use of administrative division, planning and design division, construction division, finance division, and equipment management division. DPWH Regional Office Block, Coronadal City. The approved budget for the contract is 5,404,370 pesos and 7 centavos. The contract duration is 30 calendar days and the cost of the documents is 10,000 pesos. That's it.
Thank you. So to proceed with the discussion and the requirements of the different documents. So this will be discussed by the from the supply section, from Donna Cordero.
Yes, I have one. For contract ID 26GM005 with the contract name supply and delivery of office supplies, IT supplies, janitorial supplies for use of administrative division, planning and design division, construction division, finance division, and equipment management division. This office with the approved budget for the contract is 5,404,370 and 7 cents with a contract duration of 30 calendar days. So ito po ay consolidated purchase request po ng ating mga division and user. So for the office supplies, we have 207 various items. For IT supplies, we have 9 various items. And for janitorial supplies, we have 44 various items, a total of 260 items. That would be our.
Any questions for our bank members? So ito na yung corrected one, no, from the last procurement conference. Third, yeah, question, sir.
Ito pa ito. Wala mo tayo sa lang yung words na.
So there are really no questions from the bank members. So we shall proceed with the discussion and the documents to be submitted by the bidders on the technical and financial proposals. This will be discussed by Mr. Arnie Paulo. Followed with the discussion and the criteria and procedure for eligibility check, which will be discussed by Engineer Vinella Maria Lozano. Please, you know.
The documents comprising the bid to be submitted are the technical and financial components. For the first bid and role, it shall contain the following technical documents, including the eligibility documents. First, field of certificate of registration, that counts its statement of SLCC, third NFCC computation, or committed line of credit. Third statement of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded that not get started. If any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity of the contract. If applicable, joint venture agreement or in the absence of HEDA's duly authorized statements from all potential JV partners, stating that they will enter into and abide by the provisions of the JVA in the event that the bid is successful. Six, bid security in the prescribed form and amount in accordance with ITV clause 16 and 22 period under ITV clause. Seven, technical specifications which may include production or delivery schedule, manpower requirements, and after sales service or parts if applicable. Eight, omnibus smart statement and last. For foreign bidders claiming eligibility by reason of their country's extension or reciprocal rights, including a certification from the relevant government office of their country, stating that Filipinos are allowed to participate in their government procurement activities for the same item on time. For the second bid envelope, it shall contain the following financial documents. First, bid form which includes the bid price. Second, price schedules in accordance with ITB clause 13.1. And lastly, certificate of domestic preference in accordance with ITB clause 25. Whenever necessary, modifications may be made to the following components, typically for major and specialized procurement to suit the particular needs of the procurement entity, subject to the approval of the GP. All bids that exceed the ABC shall not be accepted, unless otherwise indicated in the bid data sheet. For foreign funded procurement, ABC shall be applied and pursuing to bid prices provided the following conditions are met. First, bidding documents are obtainable free of charge on a Freedom Festival website. The payment of bidding documents is required by the procuring entity, payment which could be made upon the submission of bids. And the procuring entity has procedures in place to ensure that the ABC is based on recent estimates made by the responsible units of the procuring entity and that the estimates reflect the quality, supervision, and risk and inflationary factors, as well as prevailing market prices associated with the types of works or goods to be procured. Third, the procuring entity has trained cost estimators in estimating prices and analyzing bid variances. Fourth, the procuring entity has established a system to monitor and report bid prices relative to ABC and engineers for procuring entities and bid. Lastly, the procuring entity has established a monitoring and evaluation system for contract implementation to provide feedback on actual total costs of goods and goods. However, the GOP and the foreign government, corporate or international financial institutions may agree to waive the foregoing condition. That's
Good afternoon, everyone. First, into the discussion of the criteria and procedure for eligibility check, preliminary evaluation of bids, detailed evaluation of bids, post-qualification income. For the eligibility check, respective bidder shall submit the required legal, technical, financial eligibility documents, including proof of registration, financial capacity, and experience relevant to the procurement process. The bank shall determine whether the submitted eligibility requirements comply with the conditions of the bidding documents using a non-discretionary pass or fail criteria. Only bidders found compliant with all eligibility requirements shall be considered eligible and allowed to proceed to the next stages of the bid process. For the preliminary examinations, during the bid opening, the bank shall examine the technical and financial performance of the bids to verify the presence, completeness, and validity of all required documents. The bank should determine whether each bid substantially complies with the requirements of the bidding documents based on the past reading evaluation process. Bids containing missing, incomplete, unsigned, invalid, or technically insufficient requirements shall be declared non-responsive and shall not undergo further review. Next is the detailed evaluation. The bank shall conduct a legal review of all responsive bids to verify compliance with the technical certification, the scope of requirements, delivery schedules, and other contract conditions. Bid prices shall be evaluated, arithmetical correction shall be applied when necessary, and the bank shall determine the lowest calculated bid, or the most economically advantageous bid, or most advantageous bid, and AB effective. Only those that remain compliant after needed evaluation shall be considered for post-qualification. For post-qualification, the bidder with the best evaluated bid can undergo post-qualification to verify and validate the authenticity, correctness, and completeness of submitted documents and applications. The bank may conduct validation activities, including verification with issuing agencies, inspection of records, and confirmation of the bidder's legal, technical, and financial. Failure to satisfactorily comply with the post-qualification requirement shall result in disqualification. The next draft bidder shall be subjected to the same post-qualification process. For the award of the contract, upon determination that the bidder has successfully passed post-qualification, the bank shall recommend the award of the contract to the head of the secretary and degree or default. After approval by default, the winning bidder shall be issued a notice of award and shall comply with the requirements for contract signing and closing of the prescribed performance period. Upon execution of the contract and submission of all documentary requirements, the procuring entity shall issue the notice to proceed, which shall authorize the commencement of consent. That will be all.
Thank you. So any questions from our members? Well, if there are none, we request Engineer Daniela to present the summary proceedings.
For the summary of the proceedings for today's pre-bid conference for contract ID 26GM005. The basic contract data was discussed with extremely Engineer General Albano. The requirements of bidding documents specifying the instruction to bidders, the technical requirements was discussed by the end user from the supply section of Donna Cordero. The documents to be submitted by the bidders for both technical and financial proposal, this was discussed by Engineer Aya and Paulo. For the criteria and procedure for eligibility check up to the award of the contract, this was discussed by the Engineer General Maria Sabat. For the discussed contract, the deadline of the bid submission is on July 6, 2026 at 10 a.m. Late bids shall not be accepted. The bid opening shall be on the same day, July 6, 2026, immediately after the deadline of the bid submission. Any changes or revisions in the discussed contracts will be reflected in official bid release if there will be one. That's a bit.
So if there are none, shall we proceed to adjourn the completed conference for the procurement of related services? Still have one remaining activity, is the regulation of the bid evaluation and post-qualification evaluation of course of the technical working. Or the numerous contracts that we have already opened last week. Is there a motion from the bank members to adjourn the previous conference?
What are you speaking?
Objection? So there is a motion to the second for the adjournment of the previous conference. For the adjournment of the previous conference. There being no other objection, so the motion is hereby approved. The conference is already adjourned, so we shall now proceed with the deliberation of the evaluation result.